Yeah. How's it going?
Good. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Golden Ratio Podcast. I am Jen, GR Mom, joined again by GR Dad.
Yes, hello.
How's it going, GR Dad?
Good. I'm having fun with this microphone.
Today we're podcasting from the couch for the first time, so we're like free-holding our mics.
It's very exciting.
It's because someday my butt won't hurt, but today is not that day.
I feel like getting up and walking around.
Please don't do that.
I feel like Jerry Springer or...
Oh, they had wireless mics, though.
Phil Donahue, I think, had a plug. Venk, whose socks are those? Oh, my goodness. Maybe we should stop torturing Voodoo.
Oh, my God. He's just laying by himself in the kitchen.
I think we have a secret husky.
God, he makes a lot of noise.
For no good reason. He's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm. I know, he just wants... I've learned while you were away that when he makes noises like this, a lot of the time he just wants Guac to play with him. So we've always treated it like, oh, we need to pay attention to Voodoo. Maybe he needs to go out. Maybe he's hungry. No, he just wants Guac to chomp on his face.
Yeah, but he goes to the furthest corner of the house and sits and lies down with his face towards the wall. Like he's facing the cabinets. He is. He's not inviting anything from Guac. He's like in the furthest place he can be, yelling at the wall, yelling at the cabinets.
He is.
Foods. That's useless.
Okay.
But entertaining.
The cocktail of the week is called the Tick of the Clock.
Better than the Tick of the Boots.
No, Remy, no. Do not. No. Remy's trying to get up on the ottoman where all the podcast equipment and wires are.
Remy, he's like, in his defense, he can't see.
Yeah, he doesn't know that they're up there. He's like, oh, I get on the ottoman sometimes.
Ultimately, he doesn't care.
The chaos level is high tonight in the household.
I don't know what to do about foods.
Just leave him alone.
I'm not very good at that.
Just leave everybody alone. Remy, you're doing good things with
Remy. You're doing a good job.
Okay, so the tick of the clock is tequila, lime juice, sounding like a margarita so far, ginger syrup, so maybe like a mule with tequila, and a 1/4 ounce of Angostura bitters. Usually you do like a couple dashes of bitters, but this is like a good amount of Angostura bitters. So it gets this great red color. So it's kind of a cross between a margarita and a mule.
Angostura is red?
Angostura, it's kind of brownish red.
I thought it was brown. I mean, in the usual you just give a couple dashes, it doesn't color much. Oh, it's usually with bourbon, too. I've had it with, I haven't seen Angostura.
Yeah, no, it's kind of reddish. I put it just by itself in, like, club soda sometimes, like 5 or 6 dashes of Angostura bitters. It's really good. Oh, yeah. Like, just seltzer and Angostura bitters.
It's because you're smart.
I am smart. So anyway, that's the tick of the clock. That's the cocktail of the week.
I like it.
Okay, so we got a lot to talk about. Jared Dad just got back last night or yesterday afternoon from like 10 days away.
Yeah, I was gone.
In the squad.
I was on a different time zone.
You're a different country.
I'm going to have to tell Foods to be quiet.
He's going to be okay. Your agitation is drawing all the other dogs to you. He's got Guac and Brody and Remy all with their heads in his lap right now.
They love me. They're trying to get away from Voodoo.
Do you want to go deal with him?
Maybe.
Okay, I'll pause the podcast. Hang it. Looming over us. Getting ready to jump on the Guago man.
Yeah, I'm not sure I made it better. I just shifted the position of the problem.
So anyway, tell us about your trip to Canada, in particular, the 2 golden retrievers and other dogs that you were going to steal and bring home.
Yeah. So I went to Vancouver. My daughter's there in school at UBC.
Oh, my God. You can't get up there.
And and I was taking advantage of the fact that Canadians now allow vaccinated Americans in, although Americans are not reciprocating with Canadians.
Yeah.
So I could go over there without a 14-day quarantine, which makes it more efficient. Like I could stay for 7 days. And I noticed in Vancouver, which is pretty urban, I mean, it's a lot of bikes, a lot of buses.
It's a big city.
But a lot of bikes, a lot of buses, not, they're really aggressively trying to not have just cars. There were a lot of dogs like tied up outside the cafes or outside the restaurants or outside the stores. And some of the places even have like little tie-up places that are, like dog
like
indicated.
Hitches, like a horse hitch.
Kind of like dogs? A horse hitch for dogs. Yeah, yeah. And so at first I was like, oh, loosely attended dogs. I should take these. And, it was just like, why would someone leave their dogs out there? That's mean. And what if they feel bad? And the dogs all seemed perfectly content, by the way. And I did not steal any because you can't get them on the flight.
Wait, you drove?
No, I flew from Seattle.
Oh, that's true.
I would have gotten them all the way to Seattle and then hit a wall.
Come on, you would have driven them back from Seattle.
Hit a wall. Sneak him across the border, put him under a blanket. Don't move. Don't move. Don't touch it. It's a fuzz. But then I realized, of course, everyone in Vancouver is like on a bike or in a bus or taking a friggin' Evo or something, and so they can't just leave their dogs in the car when they go shopping.
Yeah.
Or duck in to get a croissant or whatever they get in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And so now I understand it a little bit better. I was at a bar where I was watching a dog that was there with some patrons. I'm going to let him out.
Okay. Hang on, I'll pause the podcast. Okay, hold on. Oh, yeah, okay, go ahead.
I was at the outdoor patio of a bar and was watching some kind of doodle. I think it might have been a golden doodle, it might have been a lab doodle.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jared, you got to have the top of the mic pointed at your mouth.
Okay, the doodle.
That's good. Yeah.
It was a doodle.
Yeah. Yes, I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce the story.
It was a doodle who had a harness and a leash, and, two people there with the doodle who were, at the end of a table who were animatedly talking, and the doodle was there, and I was watching the dog, I think it was a she, eat all the branches that were around and all the leaves out of the gutter. And it was very loosely supervised, this dog, but tied up, right? Like leashed up. So
yeah.
At some point, I think we were getting our check or something, and there was distraction, and I noticed that the doodle was out of her harness and just kind of wandering away.
Uh-oh.
Like all the people I was sitting with, in my seating area, were looking over kind of laughing. And I was like, no, somebody has to save the doodle, because the two people who were with the dog didn't notice. Like, she still had the leash wrapped around her leg, right? It just wasn't connected to the dog anymore. And the dog was just wandering down the street. And I was like, oh, no. So I jumped up and I ran and I got the dog, who had wandered over to the door of a pet store that was 3 doors down. And was just
looking for some snackums.
Sniffing at the pet store door. Yeah, so the dog was not actually in danger, but the owner was kind of surprised and embarrassed that she hadn't noticed that her dog had just wandered off.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then she was very nice to the dog then after. I saw her have a hand on the dog the rest of the night.
That's good.
Yeah, so I felt pretty good about saving the dog.
You saved that dog. Good job.
Yeah. Other people were just watching.
You're a man of action, Ingo.
Mentality of just watching someone's dog wander away. This is you can't drive on the highway or on a road and see a dog wandering.
I cannot. No.
You will jam the brakes and you will do something about it.
I sure do.
That's just something you have to. It's a little fraught because you might do it wrong, or you might be embarrassed, or there might be an owner 10 feet behind the dog or something. But I think you have to do this. This is mentally, you have to be prepared to take action in those situations.
I approve.
Anyway, so Vancouver was lovely. It was in the 60s there. Sometimes down into the 50s, which is absurd for the whole East Coast, which is in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, it's too cold.
Well, I mean, I thought it was kind of nice. Sometimes I went running out there, and I felt twice as fast and half my age, because it was in the 50s instead of in the 90s.
Yeah, well, I bet. Yeah,
it was downhill the whole way. Well, so it was nice, and now I'm back.
I'm glad you're back.
And I miss the dogs.
Taking care of 6 dogs by myself is a heck of a lot of work.
Yeah, I noticed that. I mean, 6 is a lot for one person. It's okay to do 2 people, but you really can't have one person just sitting on the couch watching TV.
No.
You got to have a zone defense, not a man-to-man defense.
So anyway, that GR Dad was away. While GR Dad was gone, I got braces.
Not full-on.
No, they're clear aligners.
Medieval braces.
I hate them. So I had braces briefly just on the top as a kid, and
you had the ones that were anchored into your teeth.
Yeah,
that were
the silver
things, wires, right?
Yeah, I sure did. For 9 months, and I had headgear, the stuff the stuff that.
Oh no, really?
I only had to wear it at night, and I honestly didn't wear it that much.
Oh my goodness, 16 candles, I think it's in there.
Yeah, because I had kind of an overbite. not on the bottom. And, just like the dental care I got as a kid, like my parents were great. Like we went to the dentist every 6 months. They got this done. But I think especially at the time where I grew up, which was, kind of out in the middle of nowhere, the quality of the dental care was low. All the fillings I got as a kid have had to be replaced. I've had to have some root canals because those fillings kind of failed, and then all kinds of bacteria getting under the fillings. It doesn't matter how much you brush your teeth.
Didn't you go to a dentist that was a dentist for jail, and he
the prison
did
dentist.
Better work than your than your pediatric dentist?
I only saw him briefly. He was great.
The prison dentist, yeah.
Yeah, he was just fun to hang out with. But anyway, so I have my bottom teeth are very crowded, and I've got one sort of crooked tooth down there. And cosmetically, like, you don't notice it that much. Like when I smile, you don't really see my bottom teeth, but everything's really crammed in there. And I think, I got grabbed by some Instagram ad or something for these aligners where you don't have to go into an orthodontist. So there's just like a flat fee. If you're younger than me, like your insurance probably covers it if you have dental insurance. I am too old. They don't cover it for me. But you just like take your own impressions of your teeth, and they send you a thing to take pictures of your teeth, and you send it off, and there's like orthodontists who review it, and they make a whole plan. And I got a box that's got like all 11 aligners. So it's only going to be 5.5 months.
It's like the more modern version of Invisalign, right? These are like...
It's exactly like Invisalign.
See-through plastic retainers that are... honestly, a little hard to see when you're wearing them.
Yeah. No, it's exactly... Invisalign may have a kind of virtual... Ingo, stop that.
Okay.
No, he's like kicking Guac in the head, which Guac enjoys,
Gently.
but is now getting Guac all up in our business, which
all right,
is not what we
take
need.
a nap. Okay, good. Off you go.
Yeah, so anyway, I got them. I hate them.
Ugh.
I'm distracted by them all the time. It sucks.
It's anything in your mouth, you want to like worry it with your tongue, right? Isn't that the verb
my mouth
to worry?
is like all beaten up now.
Ugh.
Anyway.
Oh yeah, you do get weird cuts in your like cheek, and you're definitely your tongue. I remember that.
Yeah.
I had Invisalign like 4 or 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And mine, they like put little
little anchors on your teeth.
Glued little anchors like in a climbing wall to the outside of my teeth, because they were really yanking them around and
your teeth were really crooked. you had that one top tooth that was like all pointing in the wrong direction.
It was overlapping. That's what I like to say. It's overlapping. It was a snaggle tooth. It was fine. It's fine. It's better now. It's better. It's more aligned. But they really had to yank my teeth around. So it was like 18 months of.
Yours took a long time.
And you do it like you put in a new one, and it is very extreme, and it yanks your teeth around for a few days, and it kind of hurts because your teeth are being pulled into new positions. And then after about a week or so, it stops hurting, and the teeth kind of get used to it. And then you put in a new one that repeats the process. So it's the whole thing is a thing. And I think I was supposed to wear mine 22 hours a day or something.
That's what they say, 22 hours a day.
Which is, I guess, leaves you time to eat and drink.
You were very good about wearing yours. I don't know the number of hours, but you were pretty committed.
I took them off at work sometimes when I felt real self-conscious, when I was like whistling.
Lisping?
Like lisping, whistling while I was talking. Because it didn't... People told me it didn't sound like that. They might have been being nice, but I felt like it, which was bad, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, mine are from a place called Candid, so if you want to get them... I'll send you a referral code. I think it gets you $250 off or something. They're not our sponsor. They're just like, when I signed up, they're like, hey, if your friends want it, like if they go through your link, like they get $250 off. And I don't know what the hell I get. I've already given them all my money. But anyway,
if you're young, your health insurance might pay for it. Yeah.
Okay. Dog updates. Remy was supposed to get his eyes examined today, but his blood sugar was too high when I talked with the ophthalmologist last week. And so she said we had to do blood glucose curves and get his glucose under control. So his surgery has been canceled for next week, and his examinations were canceled for today. We took him to our vet to do a blood glucose curve. She wanted the vet to do one, and his blood sugar got down to 40 at one point.
Which is way lower than anyone should have.
That's right. They had to break out some food to give to him. And that's because they found out that he has hypothyroid. So he started on thyroid pills a week ago or so, a little over a week ago. And we thought maybe they would impact the blood sugar a little. And the ophthalmologist was like, I used to treat diabetic dogs and it shouldn't have too much of an impact. But when we did a blood glucose curve right before he started the thyroid pills, the lowest his blood sugar got was like 186. And today that was the highest. And it was like 60 one time and 40 another time. So now we actually have to decrease his insulin so his blood sugar does not get as low.
That's weird because Brody's on the same thyroid medicine, and we don't notice a difference with Brody. I mean, he's not diabetic, of course.
Because he's not diabetic. That's why we don't notice.
It's like it wasn't a dramatic pill for him, right? Like it just didn't change his status much. And so it's a real small pill. Real small.
It is a very small pill.
Yeah.
So anyway, Remy is not having eye surgery next week, but we are going to have another week that he's on this new insulin dose, and the thyroid will do a blood glucose curve. If it looks okay, then we'll have the vet do one, then we'll do a urinalysis and blood work, and then if the ophthalmologist says it's okay, then he'll go in for the tests, and then he'll go in for the surgery. So we've added at least another month to the timeline.
Yeah, but he's fixed.
He's fixed. It's good. Voods, I think I talked in my solo podcast, I don't remember because it was only a 5-minute podcast, that we did an accidental experiment on Voods. We
talked about it before, the week before. Yeah.
So for those of you who missed it, that's right, we did. My brother had a golden with epilepsy who died this summer from the epilepsy, and they sent us his medicine, and so we've been giving that to Voods because it's expensive and they couldn't return it. And so we had been giving Voods his phenobarbital, which it turned out was about 2/3 of a dose. The pills look exactly the same.
They look exactly the same. They do.
And so it was a slightly lower dose, which I realized after a week of giving it to him. Yeah. But he'd been fine. And I was like, well, cool. Like, less phenobarbital is better. And so for probably 3 weeks now, we've been having him on the lower dose of phenobarbital. And I actually emailed the vet and I was like, hey, we didn't mean to do this, but he's been great. So we're going to lower his phenobarbital. And today he had 2 seizures. He had one in the morning and one in the afternoon. So just enough time for the phenobarbital levels to drop below their therapeutic dose.
Damn it.
I mean, he's had blood work for a bunch of things since then, and every vet is like, just so you know, the phenobarbital is at exactly the right therapeutic level for him. So the dose that he had been on previously, it looks on his blood work exactly like it should. Our hope was that he didn't need that much, but he clearly does. So
science. Ugh.
So he's back up to the old dose. So much for that experiment.
And yes, seizures are scary, and you just feel so bad for him.
Yeah.
So bad.
He's got like the big grand mal seizures, so he screams like he's being tortured, and then he falls over and convulses.
Like every muscle is contracting at the same time, it looks like. It's
and he shakes and
he snaps his teeth.
Yeah,
so
really
bad.
Terrible.
Poor boy. Bit his tongue today.
He did. Yeah.
Oh.
But then he comes out of it and he's fine. He's kind of like, ooh, you all smell kind of interesting. Hi.
Rediscovering the world, which is so scary.
Yep. So anyway, that's Voods. Hops is still limping. Mm-hmm. So it apparently takes 4 weeks for this thing to start working. We're on kind of week 2. Her elbow definitely feels like it has a bigger lump now than it did before. And so we have an appointment for her to go to the vet next week to get that checked out. But the thing with these elbow pads is that they have to wear them all the time, because if they have them off at any point and then lay down, it can bump the thing and set back all of the time that you have spent. So we could spend 3 weeks on it. She could lay down with them off one time, and then we go back to have as if we have done nothing. So that means, like dear dad got back yesterday, it means no swimming for Hops while he was gone. She wandered in a couple times with her elbow pads on, and then I had to be really careful to like put towels under her while I was washing and drying her thing. But it's basically she's had to stay out of the water. She can't, because if she lays down on her bad elbow now, it can undo all the work, and then we're just back to where she was. And I'm sure that's why she was doing better and then got worse. Like she probably bumped it on something. So it's just like extremely fragile. So we got to be super careful about that. Yeah. And then, if she's not better in a few weeks, we'll probably take her up to our orthopedic specialist who worked on Voods and Vink and Queso, and see if they've got any other suggestions.
That's right. Queso too. Yeah.
But Vink is good. Brody's good. Guac is good.
Vink gets more and more shaved, but that's not terrible.
I think that's all the dog updates.
Yeah, everyone else is good.
Excellent. Do you have a German word of the week?
Yeah, you gonna do Conclave?
I mean, do your German word of the week first.
Okay. So it's a phrase that I used to see in playgrounds all the time. It's called Eltern haften für ihre Kinder, which means parents are liable for your children. Parents are liable for their children.
Oh.
It took me a while to understand it. I think I had to ask my parents what it meant. But it means if your kids break something, the parents have to pay for it. Like, it's a very legalese term, but it's on all over Germany. Like, in, like playgrounds and schools. And I mean, anywhere there might be kids, I think. Oh, in like department stores, too. I think it's basically a reminder or an instruction that parents maybe shouldn't need, that you got to keep your kids in check. God damn it. Pay attention to your kids, because they'll burn shit down or, break things or steal stuff. And the parents are liable. So, because Germans are kind of like, this just happens. Like, the kid will walk through a glass window or something and break it. And the parent's like, weird. Let's go. I mean, and it's like they don't have any sense of responsibility for things. So, this is the sign that was everywhere. Eltern haften für ihre Kinder.
That's a good one.
It's a weird one. It's a kind of a culture.
How many words is it actually?
Eltern, parents. Haften, which was the part that I didn't understand as a kid. What's haften? It's to be liable for.
Oh.
Parents are liable for. Haften für ihre Kinder. Für ihre Kinder.
For your kids.
Yeah, so parents.
For their kids.
Parents are responsible for their children. Like, that's the breakthrough concept, that parents are responsible for the actions of their children, which shouldn't need to be said, and I don't think it needs to be said in America, where it's pretty much like, if your kid throws a baseball through my window, I assume that you're responsible for it. In Germany, it's like, whoa, weird. It didn't just happen. It's like the parents' negligence. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
One.
Yeah.
Taste of the Keys this week is a 22-year-old dude who got into a little road rage incident. He got passed, and he got really mad about it because, I guess the guy passed him on the shoulder. All the shoulders here are just gravel.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's just gravel. So somebody passed him around the shoulder. I think he was trying to turn or something, and it kicked up some rocks that didn't apparently do any damage, but it made him very angry. And so he chased down the car. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm mixing it up. Okay, so there's a car driving. It gets passed on the right.
Mm-hmm.
When it gets passed on the right, it kicks up some rocks. The guy who is getting passed on the right gets pissed off and speeds up and chases down the guy who passed him on the right.
Yeah.
And starts yelling at him. And then the guy who passed on the right.
Right. The already aggressive guy.
Pulls out a gun.
Nah, that's a bad idea.
Yep. So he's not the road ragey one necessarily. I mean, he's not the one.
Kind of ragery too, though.
He didn't chase a guy down.
He passed him on the right.
If we were in a car together, I mean, I usually drive, but if we were in a car and somebody did something bitchy to you and you chased them down,
you wouldn't like it.
I'd put the car in neutral while you were trying to. Oh, I would let you have it before you were 100 yards down the road.
You wouldn't like it.
No, it's bad.
No.
Yeah, but anyway, the guy who got chased down was like, "Oh, you want some?" Pulled the gun out.
Here's some. Yeah.
Yeah. He got taken to jail.
It was interesting because the guy who was being threatened by the other guy with the gun admitted or said the guy didn't point the gun at me. It's interesting. Like, it wasn't an aggravated charge, right? I thought that was very honest. Like, he just waved the gun around, or he pulled it out to threaten me, but he didn't point it at me.
Yep.
Because that would have been like more bad. I was going to talk about the 13 Cubans that came to a beach in Key West.
Oh, it's just so sad.
I know. This is how messed up the policy is, right? We're like, go...
Move that mic a little bit off to the side, dear Dad.
Go Cuban protesters.
Yeah.
But there were like 13 Cubans who made a boat out of what looked like blue tarp and wood frame.
Yeah.
And made it the 90 miles of tough sailing from
Very
Cuba
tough.
to a beach, Higgs Beach in Key West, and then were, detained, caught by the Coast Guard, and they're going to be brought back to Cuba. Like, what kind of... They did all that work, and then we just return them. It's just like, it's to a place that we kind of know is bad. It is so bad that they're willing to go 90 miles in a rickety boat.
Yeah.
Because some other Cubans just drowned, I think, trying to escape.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's sad. Sorry. That's it.
Yeah, way to end the podcast on a downer note.
Oh, I'm sorry. Waving a gun around is now happy.
I mean, nobody got shot.
Cubans.
Or sent back to some place that they fled. I guess one guy got sent to jail, but he got punished.
He got to jail
for doing bullshit.
For showing a gun that he had. I mean, I could see the misunderstanding there.
All right, well, That is our podcast for the week. We will not be podcasting from the couch next week, or maybe I will, and Dear Dad will have to sit in a chair.
Maybe ever again. It's the dog's fault, not mine. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Dear Dad.
Oh, this is way too much information.
Okay, well, we'll just leave it.
You can tell people, but they've probably figured it out already.
Dear Dad may have had 3 drinks with dinner and is now drinking a beer. How much of that beer is left? Not much, based on the apparent weight from looking here.
I have a strong hand. It's mostly full still.
I'm trying to kick it with my foot. There's nothing left in there. It's empty.
I neither confirm nor deny these allegations.
You are a good podcaster with several drinks in your system.
Just not technically.
But, your technical skills go way down, and your decision-making about when to engage the dogs around which wires deteriorate.
Do you know, at some point, I'm going to take this microphone, swing it around like some kind of lariat.
We had better end the podcast then.
See if it makes a whooshing noise.
Put it away. All right, well, until next week, don't bite anyone unless they ask you to. Don't swing anything on wires around unless
come on.
asked to. Nope, it's a bad idea. Bye.
Bye.